I want to talk a little bit about sin. Sin is something that drives the church, drives Judaism. People commit sin. There's these things that are against the law. You break the law, and Islamic tradition too. You break these laws, it's punishable by this, punishable by that. Those laws that are created by man aren't really sin. They're things that they decided as a group of people. They make these mores as to what is acceptable, what's not acceptable in life. And then these are things that we follow, and there are agreements we follow in the collective consciousness of this world that are right and they are wrong. But that's different than sin. Sin is anything that prohibits the divine spark of your soul from returning to the divine oneness of the universe after this life passes. Those are things that are sinful. Those are the things that will disconnect you from eternity, from the God of gods, way out. The other things are rules that we follow here. I mean, cannibalism, it's not a good idea to eat people. It's not a good idea to marry your children, have children with your children. There's rules that make a lot of sense. There are rules that don't really make as much sense that people follow just because they feel like it. They just set up these rules and then they follow them. Those aren't really sin in the sense of sin against your divinity. They're sins against agreements to live in this world. There are man-made rules that you follow. There are rules of divinity that trump all those, that anything that lessens your light is a sin. Anything that prohibits you from going back home when you leave this earth is sin. Sin is the absence of light, and light being not sunlight, not that kind of light, but the light of your divinity. Anything that diminishes that light diminishes you and makes it harder for you to ever escape the perpetual rebirth into the cycle of give and take, want, light, darkness, good and evil that this world is. The only way to transcend this world is to get past all those sensory perceptions, all those things that are of here, because of here is here. Your body is of here. It's formed here. It stays here. The spark of your life that came from the universe returns to the universe, and that's the only spark that you have to be overly concerned with. The rest of the rules you have to follow just so you don't, so you can get along with the group, kind of thing. But if those rules prohibit you from your own spiritual growth, they have to be kind of examined, and you have to say to yourself, I don't know if that's really makes any sense to follow. And that has to do, and that goes with prayer, that goes with whatever practice you have. If it doesn't increase your light, it's not worth doing. If it diminishes you as a being, it's not worth doing. So let your, I think Jesus said one time that you should give to Rome what belongs to Rome and give to God what belongs to God. It's kind of alluding to that fact that there are things you have to do here because you have to do them. And then there are things that belong to God that you shouldn't not do. You shouldn't let go, that you should never abandon out of fear or out of doubt. These basic true things that you know to be true, you should never let go of. And if it means you can't follow certain rules or laws, then so be it. And you take whatever comes with that. Without fear, because you're an eternal being. The body comes and goes. But at the same time, you can't wish to be a martyr. I mean, you can't throw your life away. That's also a sin because it affects your ability to transcend. So being a martyr, intentionally being a martyr, is not a good idea. Intentionally throwing your life away is not a good idea. Every hair on your head is numbered. Every day of your life is counted. Shortening that on purpose is not a good idea. But prolonging it forever, that's probably not that much of a good idea either. The important thing is to live the natural life you have, live as best you can, follow the rules that make sense. If they don't make sense to you, figure out another way to live. And do only, in your spiritual practice, do whatever increases your light so that one day you can become one again and transcend the material world into the non-material world of universal existence. All right. Love to hear from you. I hope you can like this video, subscribe. I'd like to chat. You can visit us on YouTube. You can visit us on our our blog. I'll try to attach some of the information, figure out how to do that. Anyway, nice talking with you. Have a really nice holiday. All right.